welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me in the beautiful landscape of Scotland, and you actually join me in the boglands here in Glenisla, up the back behind Loch Shandrew, because I'm actually about to document, hopefully, the remains of what had been a croft. Probably when the dam was built at Loch Shandrew, the croft was probably no longer usable at this higher shores. So I saw remains of it on a previous adventure, and I thought I want to go back and individually document that on a video. And here we are today, a little abandoned croft of Loch Shandrew. And what a madness it is. I'm basically punching up here. I think the track I should have gone is actually over here. So here's our first sight of Loch Shandrew up ahead. And actually, you have to imagine that before it was there, it would have been lush green fields. And the croft I'm about to document would have been the people that basically had those fields, and this would have been their land where they farmed. Some of these old wall lines would have actually been their field walls, and that'll be way back to like 1600s, probably around that time. That's the crazy thing with Scotland, the history's so old often. Sometimes the main remains of the houses or buildings could be gone, but there's still some bits there just to tell the story of history. Look at this unusual fungus you get at this time of year. So I've come a bit further along the track, and look at this, we can see our first construction. This is some of the last remains. Check out the wee square, what must have been either a building or just an enclosure at this side, and then the track's actually led round there. I can see 4 sheep, so I'm thinking I'm going to go around that way. I'm actually away to meet Highlander 87 for the next adventure, folks, and he's going to meet me down in the car park. That's why for this one I'm just kind of keeping it moving. We're just keeping on going over the land as the crow flies over this old historical site of what would have been a croft. I'm thinking in the 1600s, but probably most certainly into the early 1700s and stuff. Look at the sheep up here, folks, they're just watching my 4 rams. Look, there's loads of them up this whole hill. The cottage from the last video actually stands up on the hill behind here. And this is an amazing piece of land that I had never actually put boots on the ground. I've always just gone up the road. Again, there's a track leads on up there, so I had never really noticed the history hidden at this lower level. And that's why I want to go over where this tree is. That's next to where the old farm buildings had actually been. And then the old cottage. Look at this, folks, we've got 2 swans out here chilling on the waters of Loch Shandrew. This is actually quite a cool path that I'm on, to be honest. So here we go, folks, we're away to enter the historical farmyard or settlement, and it actually looks like it's been a fair old place back in the day. This tree was probably planted at the early times of this croft, and you can actually see the remains of so many buildings. There's actually a dead sheep lying in there. Look, here's been a wall going round with a track coming in. Let's see what we've got. I love throwing the camera on and documenting these places because each year the greenery and vegetation covers them up. Look at the square outline here. This has been like a double shed, or potentially even like the house. I think at this site here there would have been like a house or a cottage, but also there would have been more potentially lost under the waters of the dam when it was first built. Look at this here as well, folks. I love wee videos like this, just having a look at something that I've never seen before and then imagining how it may have been. And this must have had a lot of different individual buildings or sheds. I don't think this has been a house, judging from the size of the rooms. This has been more like a shed construction at this side. Not unless that had been the house down there. That's it, folks, see the shape of that? That's more like what I would expect to see. And that kind of makes sense. They would have had a farmyard here with a square of sheds, a couple there, and then the 3 of them down this side here. Look, this would have been the back wall. So many of the stones have fallen down, it almost just looks like a level boulder field. But you can actually see the outline of the walls. And sometimes once you put it on video, you can kind of get a true aspect of how it would have originally looked. Imagine the little community or family that sat here maybe looking out over that land when it was just fields. Maybe before even the days of the forests in this area. Wow, this is super cool. I love to see it. I'm thinking this must have been the wee house. judging from the size of it. And the front door would have been at this side, and probably at this end there would have been some sort of chimney or cooking facilities, maybe like a cooking range similar to what we saw in the last video. So many years have passed, that's why places end up looking like this. And even previous years when I had walked up there, I never noticed this until today, and that's why I wanted to come here and put it on video. On my way back down the glen from my last adventure, I was passing by here, so it's cool just to see it. And the conditions are fine today. Yesterday we had extreme weather and winds, extreme rain. Look at the outside edge of this farmhouse wall, or the building wall anyway for sure. It's just so grassy, maybe originally just stone, but it's almost built into the ground. But so many years has passed with a site like this. You can actually still see the original road coming in round. It probably came into the farm here, but then also I believe, look, it's come down through this gap. The road's actually led on down to another area now that's so saturated and boggy, you can only imagine what history maybe lay down there. And I always like imagining like the horse and cart maybe carrying his wheat and stuff up from those fields, coming round this corner into the farmyard. The noise of the hoofs, and the noise of the old wooden wheels churning along. Just forgotten from places like this, or even the sight of the smoke coming out the chimney as they were cooking their tea or heating up the kettle. And just think what animals may have also been kicking about, making their call, making their noise. Wow, what a scene of Scotland. It's crazy on these videos being able to paint the picture of Scotland. So what you would think is just a pile of boulders, we can bring it to life and like show you what it actually was and tell you the history. There's even old wall lines here, and you can just see how far gone they become after a lot of years. It ends up just being a slight ridge in the land, which is crazy to think of. It's literally hundreds of years, folks, and that just blows my mind. So many nights and days. The land all around these places changes so much, and I'm pretty sure there used to be a forest over here which has recently been felled. But there we go, what another madness it's been. It's a short video today, but it's a bit of fun. The very faint remains of the farm Crofts. I like having it on this channel, not only the amazing complete houses and abandoned buildings, but also the more far gone ones that's just like a faint scar of history. Probably never put on YouTube before to document how they are. Anyway folks, it's been a fun one. I'm going to end it here though. I'm waiting to punch down the glen and meet Highlander for the next adventure, so tune in for that if you want to see it. I'm ending this one here. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back soon with the next one, wherever I end up going. Wow.